CBS presents this program in color.
I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come. I'm destined for anything at all. Downtown, lights will be shining on me like a new diamond ring out under the midnight hour.
Welcome to The Planet, the podcast for L Word fans. I'm Casey.
And I'm Elka.
This is the podcast about nothing.
This week we have some great stuff in store for you in this podcast, but we won't be talking that much about the L word. So if all you care about is the L word and you can't stand to hear our voices otherwise, then just erase this from your hard drive right now. But we do have the long-awaited, fabulous, funny, sweet interview with my mother. In addition, at the end of this podcast, we're going to have some exciting Planet news.
It's not that exciting.
It's very exciting to me.
Nerd. So it's been several weeks since our last podcast. Have there been any changes in your life, Elka?
I'm getting a little bit of a tan. I've been playing outside a lot.
What else is going on in your little life?
In my little life? Nothing. Well, for this podcast, since we didn't have that much L word to talk about, and what L word gossip we do have, we're going to save for our season 3 recap show, I think. What's going on with you, Casey?
I'm finishing up my Spanish class.
How's that going?
It's pretty much over. I just have 2 tests. I have an oral exam, and then I have a written exam.
From what I hear, you're going to ace your orals.
You're sick.
I can't just miss an obvious joke like that.
I don't know what's up with my Spanish teacher.
What do you think the teacher's gonna look like this year?
This is the one who looks like Carmen?
She's like Carmen, but cuter.
Oh, as if.
I'm not kidding.
Teachers.
What?
Sarah Shahi is on a show called Teachers.
I thought you were like,
and your teacher
teachers.
looks like Sarah Shahi.
Yeah, a
This
bit.
is classic life imitating art.
Well, obviously nothing's happened, but...
What do you mean nothing's happened?
Well, I mean, you seem like you're trying to set something up, but nothing's really happened.
I'm just asking you about it. You act as if I
What are you trying to say? No, I'm just kidding.
You fucked her, didn't you?
I think that the teacher may have taken a liking to me.
That's obvious. That wouldn't be the first time one of your teachers fell for you either.
No, the other person was a TA.
What do you mean? Your teacher has taken a liking to you.
That's all I mean. She's
First
not,
of all,
interested in me. She just likes me as, I'm the star student.
Sometimes it's not so easy to be the teacher's pet.
Which is kind of hilarious, because I'm never the star student.
I knew this was going to happen.
What?
I knew she was going to like you.
I do it.
But why do you think that?
I don't know. I'm probably just being a dumbass, but...
That
okay,
would be
so...
a surprise.
Shut up! Well, it's embarrassing. Okay, here's the whole story in a nutshell. The teacher starts out the class. She's really young.
Young teacher, the subject of schoolgirl fantasy.
And very attractive. Like, crazy attractive. When she first started the class at the beginning of the semester, she would wear, little jackets over her blouse with a skirt and professor clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't really see her legs or anything. Or she'd wear slacks with a nice shirt. So midway through the semester, she's wearing jean skirts with the cute, tighter shirt, short sleeves, real girly. Then she moves on to a shorter jean skirts with a short shirt. Just a shirt that if you're standing straight, it comes just to the top of the skirt. But she's kind of short. So she reaches up to write on the chalkboard, and you can totally see her belly button. And then she'll turn back around and talk to the class, and she doesn't pull it back down. So the whole class, there's only 6 people in the class, okay, and including me. And so the whole class doesn't seem to notice this. No one in the class seems to notice any of this but me. I look at these young guys who are in there, who whatever, and even the women, because even straight women look at other women and how they look, and it doesn't seem to faze anyone. And I'm just like, oh my God, am I like hallucinating here? Or maybe I just think she's cute, so I'm noticing. But no, it's like her belly button. Who doesn't look? Okay, so then her shirt started getting lower, and so she'd bend over. So she'll bend over to say something to me. The one time I can completely remember is she passed back these tests, and she's going over the tests. A few of them I thought she had marked wrong. I got like a 94. At the time I was like, I think you marked these wrong, but they weren't wrong. And so she came over to my desk.
Don't stand so close to me.
And she like totally exposes herself to me.
What do you mean by that?
I can see like almost her whole breast.
Did you see the nipple?
No, she was wearing a bra. I'll get to that later. So she was wearing a white bra over her dark Hispanic skinned breasts. So she bends over and she's like, well, show me what you mean. And I'm like, I couldn't even speak to the woman. I just started cracking up and I'm like, never mind. I think I made a mistake. And so she's like, no, let me see. What are you talking about? And I'm like, I think you marked these wrong. And I couldn't even speak in a complete sentence. I was like, these wrong. I don't know. And so,
oh my God.
I mean, there were breasts, nice young perky breasts, like 8 inches from my nose. So
You should be used to that.
Well, I'm not. So
are you okay? Do you need a cold drink of water?
No, I've been not saying the story because I'm like, oh, I'll save it for the podcast. And so now it's all coming out. Okay, so anyway, so that happened. So she's at this point where she's wearing these kinds of clothes. And
Did she wear a shirt that said no hodas?
No, no, but it was about at that point where I would be going into the class and I'm like, oh God, what is going to happen today? This lady's like losing her mind. I didn't know.
No wonder you haven't learned any Spanish.
Whatever, I have an A in the class. It's at the point where I'm walking up the stairs to the class. As I'm walking up the stairs, I'm like, oh my God, what is going to happen today? So it went on for a while. Like she's wearing like the shorter skirts, tight fitting to like accentuate her nice heart-shaped ass. She's writing on the boards, exposing her back, her front, her... Last week, so she starts out in like business wear, goes down to like school teacher wear, then she's getting to be very casual wear. Last week, she wore a white blouse. You know how sometimes blouses have little tiny holes in them? Tiny, like it'll be a flower design.
Like an eyelet, it's called.
Okay. And so most people, either they wear the same color bra as the shirt, or they'll wear like a tank top under it. Mm-hmm. She wore one of those shirts. It was like linen almost. You could see through it with the little tiny eyelet things. It was like really pretty and all these curvy shapes to it. Super cute shirt with a long jean skirt with flip-flops. Flip-flops. So you could now you could see her painted toenails. Pink painted toenails.
I can get you a toe. Believe me. There are ways, dude. You don't want to know about it, believe me.
Yeah, but Walter...
Hell, I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish.
But, to top it all off, she wasn't wearing a bra.
What?
And, okay, so that happened to be the date of a quiz. I'm reading my book, looking down at my desk, reading the book. I'm looking over my notes. I'm getting ready to take the quiz. She's like, okay, everybody put everything away. We're going to take the quiz. So I close my book. I put my notes away. I look up and see 2 dots. Like, I swear I didn't even see her face yet. I look up from my book and there are 2 dark colored nipples showing through her shirt.
Boobies.
And I just started busting out laughing. Nobody knew what the hell was wrong with me. I couldn't take the quiz. I was laughing so hard that I was crying. And she was just like, what's going on with you today? And I was just like, I can't speak. What? I could barely speak. I was, cause like seriously that day I was walking up the steps just like, oh shit, what is this lady gonna do now? And she wasn't wearing a bra with a shirt. You could see through it. And she must have they're like, you could see them through the shirt clearly.
Wait a minute.
Something's happened to my brain. It's all dried up.
Just stop right here.
I almost like hyperventilated.
Why would this make you laugh?
Because it's just been getting more and more bizarre. What's she gonna wear on the day of my final exam next week? She's gonna come in a bikini? Just 2 pieces of tape over her nipples?
Pasties.
What the fuck is this lady do? You don't understand. From the beginning of the semester to now, you could draw a chart. You could draw a chart of the differences. It's amazing.
So I was going to ask you, how did you know she wasn't wearing a...
You could see them!
Do you think that she didn't know? Like, I would be embarrassed for her.
Wait, she didn't know what I was laughing at?
Well, she didn't know that she was exposing herself. She'd probably be embarrassed if she...
I think she knew.
You think she showed her nipples on purpose?
Yes! I think she took her bra off before the class.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
This is what it's like in Casey's life. Did you think I was kidding when I called her the Great Converter?
I haven't done anything.
This is what it's like. I know, you didn't do anything. You just have this...
She's not converted.
You must give off a pheromone.
She's not converted to anything.
I want to do some tests on your metabolic hormone. I don't know. I mean... Why does this shit happen to you? I mean, you're cute.
It rarely happens.
You actually think that she sat in her office and took her bra off before class?
I have no idea.
And you think that if so, it was for your benefit?
No. I don't know I have no idea. That's how bizarre. That's why I was laughing, because I was just like, what the hell?
Do you think that she knew why you were laughing?
No. I know you could tell by her reaction that she didn't. And she's funny and smart. After the class, a couple of people in the class and her have gone out for drinks and stuff. She's really funny, and she's obviously intelligent in some ways. Who doesn't wear a bra teaching a class? She's not like a hoochie mama at all. Hoochie mama? Oh, and she's trying to out me in the class. At first I thought, oh, this is a coincidence. But then it continued to go on for several classes.
How is she trying to out you? Well, I mean, why would you think your teacher would try to out you?
I don't understand the woman's brain.
But what did she do that would make you think that? Okay.
Part of the assignments for the class are, she'll say, okay, write 100 words on this topic. You know, like the first one was, tell me what activities you like to do or something. And another one was, tell me about your vacation. And then we had one that was like, tell me about your family and or friends. So you have to write, me, Hermana, it's whatever. So you have to say things about your family. And it said, tell me about your family. And then in parentheses, it said husband/wife and mother and father. So obviously I don't have a husband or a wife because I'm gay and George Bush is the president. So I put something like, I don't know what I wrote. I said something about my mom and my dad and how many brothers and sisters I had. And then I was like, and I live with my girlfriend. I don't have a wife because it's not legal in the United States to get married. And
you wrote this in your homework.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it asks about your husband and wife. What am I supposed to say?
No, I'm proud of you for being so out all the time. I think that's awesome.
That's my immediate family. So I turn the thing in, she hands him back, and it says something like, because I wrote in there, like, it's not legal in the United States except for in Massachusetts or something. And so she wrote in there, why don't you just go to Hawaii and get married or something like that?
We've talked about this before.
Yeah. Well, not this specifically, but that people think you can get married in some
Yeah.
states. And I was like, oh my God, this lady doesn't know. And then one of the times when we went out for drinks, I'm like, oh, by the way, you can't get married in Hawaii. And she's like, oh, you can't. So at that point, she knows I'm gay. And I know she actually read the thing because she put in there the Hawaii comment. So a couple of classes later, we go around the room. There's 6 people in the room. We're like all in a line. She goes around the room from person 1 to 2 to 3, 4, and then she goes back to 1. Like we go through the whole thing. It's always been like this the whole semester. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm number 6. And this is how it's always been. And we have these verbal lessons. And so now she'll go like 1, 2, 3. And then if you're reading the questions, it'll say something like, the one question was, what time do you get up in the morning? And then you have to say, I get up in the morning at blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, / what time does your husband or wife get up in the morning? Obviously, I have no answer for this, but I have to either say husband or wife. And then at which point, if I said wife, the whole class would be like, wait, she said esposa, not esposo. And I'd have to be outed. So instead of answering that way, I said, we wake up at whatever time. This happened several times. And she'll go out of order when it comes to a question that involves husband or wife, girlfriend or boyfriend, tu novia or tu novio, which is girlfriend or boyfriend. And every time it has one of those, she goes to me out of order.
That's weird because if you're already out to her, why would she be trying to out you to the class?
I don't know. It's weird, but it's really obvious. And then when I answer, I'm like playing the pronoun game in Spanish.
Which is harder, right?
No, it's the same. When I'm doing this, she always has this look like, She's like, she got me again.
Well, I mean, what does your girlfriend think of this? She's showing you her nipples.
She knows that I'm faithful, but I mean, it's funny. Don't you think it's funny?
I mean, do you maybe feel like you've got Carmen hitting on you? Maybe
no,
you
she's
should
not hitting on me.
break your vows or whatever. I mean,
huh?
Well, you're with your girlfriend, but your girlfriend's no Carmen.
Hey, all I'm doing is going to class. When we go out for drinks, she doesn't do anything weird.
Other than show you her nipples.
We didn't go out for drinks that day. I would have died.
I think I heard a song about this.
Oh, and she tried to dance with me. We have these Spanish songs, and then she shows us different dances, and she really gets into these dances. And so she's like, does anybody want to dance? And the one guy and the one girl started dancing a little bit, really poorly, I might add. And then she was like, come on. And I was like, I'm not dancing with you. I'm not dancing.
What was she playing? The lambada?
No, it was some cumbia music.
Do you dirty dance to that? I mean, why didn't you dance with her?
I don't want to dance in my Spanish class. It wasn't required.
Oh my God. I can't believe you.
It was pretty bizarre. But the class, I only have a week left of it. It's almost over.
So you've only got a week left to hit that.
Oh, she's straight-ish.
Nobody is completely straight once they've been around you for a long enough time.
Nobody's safe.
So, Casey, I can't believe you're doing this. You're telling this story because this is the podcast where we're supposed to play the interview with my mother.
So
that means my mom's going to listen to this podcast and hear you talking about your Spanish teacher's nipples. Do you really want my mother to hear you talking about your Spanish teacher's nipples for 26 minutes?
You asked.
I wish that I hadn't said we were going to play the interview this time.
Are you being serious?
I don't know. I mean, my poor mother.
Oh, she should be used to it.
But she's...
We'll just send her the part where she talks. We'll cut out all the rest.
Oh, my God.
Well, your mom knows that this show is sex-infused, doesn't she?
She knows that we make it, so...
Oh. So she should assume that there's going to be some nipple talk.
I mean, she's never seen the L word, as far as I know.
So tell me about something exciting.
I can't even come close to that. What the... I can't go anywhere.
Anywhere?
I can't go anywhere from that. You're like, so what do you have to say now? I'm done.
Whatever. What do you have written down?
A bunch of dumb shit that doesn't compare to Spanish teachers' nipples.
The woman is freaky. If this was just some teacher, who had her nipples showing, I'd be like, okay, that's gross, whatever. But this lady, she's smoking hot.
This reminds me of something, and I don't know if I should even say this, but we got an email from a listener who was talking about, they thought that Carmen's mother was miscast, the actress who plays Carmen's mother on the L Word.
Why?
Because Carmen is, smoking hot. Mm-hmm. Her ass could be elected, dominion over
World
the
leader.
universe.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's so unrealistic that someone who looks like that would have a kid who looks like Carmen.
Oh. Well,
And I'm like, you must live in the East because we live in New Mexico and it's a very diverse place. And I'm telling you, that lady that plays Carmen's mom, when she was 18, she probably did look like Carmen. All the guys I know that I hang out with.
It's true, though.
If you come to Albuquerque and you go around like the downtown university area, you will see more hot chicks in a day. There are so many hot girls here.
Yeah.
When they're 18.
18 to like 28.
Yeah. Once they hit 30, it's like the carriage turns into a pumpkin again. And it's all over.
Yes. Well, you're still not saying what
I'm not
going to
say what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
The
But
people
then
who know what I'm talking about, and the
sense.
people who don't know what I'm talking about don't need to.
It's not like...
I mean, I know this because my guy friends tell me about it.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm making this up. Let the hate mail begin.
Whatever. You've gained a few pounds.
I know.
And you're not Hispanic.
Well, I didn't look like a model when I was 18 either.
Well, yeah. You kind of did.
Aw. That's very sweet. Thank you.
What do you mean? I just told you were getting fat.
Oh, I know that. I don't care.
No, you're definitely
I'm pregnant.
not. You're definitely
I'm
nowhere
not fat.
near.
I'm pregnant.
You're not anywhere close to being fat. You've gained like 5 pounds. And it looks good on you.
Uh-huh. Thanks. So anyway.
What else do you have on your
You
little
know,
notepad?
okay, if I can't even say what I have on my list because it's going to make me sound like the hugest dork. Some stupid blogger shit. You're talking about nipples in your face and I'm talking about my internet. I have nothing to say.
What's the deal with your blog?
I'm not going to talk about I'll talk about it next podcast.
Oh, please, as if we're going to have a next one.
I don't have anything to say.
No, tell me.
No, I want to play the interview with my mother.
Don't be mad.
I'm not mad. I'm speechless after that nipple story. Nothing I could say.
All right, come on.
Come on, what?
Come on with your next topic.
I don't have any topics. I quit. I'm done. I'm not talking about anything I've written on this
I'll
fucking
ask you
paper.
some questions. Because
I want to end to play the interview with my mom and just end the
No,
nothing
I have
else.
some
We
questions
can't talk
to ask.
about anything.
Oh my
after
God,
you.
you're going to explode. Your head's going to fly up and hit the ceiling. Splat.
I'm telling you.
You look really
Your
intense.
nipple story
Your
is
eyebrows
bringing-
are like touching the top of your hairline. Are you... What the fuck?
I'm telling you that when you talk about your teacher's nipples at the
Yeah.
top of the podcast,
Oh, I should have waited to the end.
there's nothing you can follow that with. There's nothing that we
You're
can talk
under-
about.
Well, let's talk about you personally. I have some questions to
What?
ask you.
Why do you want to talk about me? I haven't seen any nipples for days.
Not even your own? What do you get dressed in the dark closet? So I've decided to ask you a few personal questions.
Why?
I just made it up. I don't because I thought
Nobody
that-
cares about
Well, they don't care,
asking
but
me
they might
personal
be
questions.
interested.
I don't think anyone is.
What beverage did you first get drunk on?
Nobody gives a shit about that. That is the dumbest question I have ever
Why are
heard.
you trying to not answer the question?
PBR.
Ew! You made this otherwise dull question really interesting just now.
No,
so in other
actually,
words, you grew
I
up
was
in a
kidding.
trailer.
I was kidding. It was old Milwaukee's Best.
Oh, yeah, that's so much better.
For real.
Ew. Do they still sell that shite?
Yes. Well, I was in Ohio. I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, actually, my first one was... Well, the first beer was Natural Light.
Natty.
which is so disgusting. But it was quickly followed up the same night with about a half a gallon of vodka
Oh,
injected
God.
into a watermelon.
See, that's way cooler than me because I drank some Old Milwaukee's Best and then grape Mad Dog 2020.
Was this all taking place at the 7-Eleven parking lot?
Yeah, and then we started drinking some 40s of Laser.
It's like a scene from Gummo. The best movie ever.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, we were like a couple weeks ago, we're going to review the anniversary party, and it's still on the hard drive of the TiVo. We watched like half hour. We're like, why did we want to do this? It's stupid and boring. So we're probably not going to do it. I'm sorry if we made you buy it.
No, we're going to do it.
We are?
We got to finish watching the movie. It's not stupid and boring. We just got tired.
It must not be too great because it's been like a month that we still haven't watched the whole movie.
We'll
And
review
plus,
it next time.
We watched seriously like an hour of it, and I didn't write shit down for notes. I wrote like one thing, and it was a 2-word sentence.
All we had to do was the 5-minute film review.
Well, let's do it now.
But we didn't watch the whole thing.
Well, we've seen it a million times. At least 3 of those.
I don't
want
wanna
to
do it now.
Okay.
But after we review the anniversary party, maybe we should do Gummo.
I don't know if our listeners can handle Gummo. You've got to have kind of a weird sense of humor.
Is that your favorite movie?
Ever?
Yeah.
I don't know what my favorite movie is ever, but it is definitely up there. It may be my favorite movie ever because I just love Harmony Korine.
I think Gummo may be my favorite movie as well. Even if it's not my favorite movie, it is the greatest film ever made.
One of the reasons why it's so good is because 9 out of 10 people just don't get it.
It's the Citizen Kane of our generation.
I don't know, seriously, if we should recommend people watch it. They might be offended. Especially if they live in Xenia, Ohio.
Which is so close to where I grew up.
Not close to where I grew up, thank God.
Well, I mean, if you're one of those people who likes to quote funny lines from a film.
Seriously, the quotes from that movie last for decades. Your sister still does them.
That's absolutely one of my favorite films ever, and it always will be. Maybe
This is
we'll
the
talk
best
about
popsicle I've ever had.
Why do you always eat during the podcast?
It makes your lips red. Luscious. It's a little trick for you chapstick lesbians out there. If you don't like to wear lipstick, just eat a cherry popsicle.
Or drink some wine.
No, because that turns your teeth purple.
I can't believe you are dispensing fashion tips.
Fashion?
If you don't want to wear lipstick, eat a cherry popsicle.
It was a joke! What the And then rub it on your cheeks for rouge.
So then your skin will break out, your ass will be huge, and your lips will be red.
Your skin doesn't... It's a popsicle. It's like 25 calories in this.
It's a sugar bomb.
I love it. Sugar-free, Missy. Sugar-free.
You're eating a sugar-free cherry popsicle.
I think they're like all sugar-free now.
While we make the podcast.
Now I can't eat it in front of you. Turn the other way.
Throw it away. We're fucking recording.
They can't hear it.
You're smacking your lips.
I know why you don't want me to eat it. It's because my lips are turning red and it's making you oddly attracted to me, isn't it? Look at my luscious cherry red lips.
I guess I'm busted.
See? Works every time. Every day before my Spanish class, I eat a cherry popsicle.
What are we even talking about? Like, all we were supposed to do is introduce the interview with my mom.
So when we visited Ohio last, we interviewed your mother in her kitchen.
Yeah, and I apologize for the sound quality on this. It's not the greatest, but it's the best we could do with a mobile recording studio.
The definition of mommy is not a chick with kids. Mommy means the boss, the money maker, the man taker, the provider, the low car rider. So if you're a fly mommy, please stand up. Mommy, mommy look good, yeah, mommy look right. Like
Hello, listeners. This is Casey of Elka and KC from the Planet. We're here with an exclusive interview with Elka's mom. And her name for this show is Elka's mom.
Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Question number 1 through 6, it looks like, from Jazz. She's a regular listener. And the first question is, was Elka a cute baby?
Yes, she was gorgeous, except she didn't have any hair. She was totally bald.
So not much has changed. Jazz's second question is, was she a rebellious teenager?
Yes. As a teenager, she was very rebellious.
And you're going to leave it at that?
I'm not going to say any more. All I can say is I survived her teenage years, but I need a medal for it.
Okay.
Well, what did I do that was bad?
What didn't you do that was bad? You were a very brilliant young lady and very challenging to raise.
I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this one. What's the craziest thing that Elka ever did? That's a hard one, because you probably don't know about the craziest thing she ever did.
I think you're right about that. I can't think of anything crazy that she's ever done. She's made some decisions in her life. For example, dropping out of college worried me because I was afraid she wouldn't go back, but she did go back. But other than that, there's nothing terribly crazy that she did.
How did you come up with her name?
I just loved the name Elky. Elka.
Here's our first question that gets into the content that we're used to. This is also from Jazz. Did you ever wonder during Elka's childhood or teenage years if she might turn out to be a lesbian?
No, I actually never gave it a thought. It just never popped into my mind.
You just assumed she was straight, obviously. I think most parents do.
Yeah, I think they do.
What did you say when Elka told you she was gay?
I remember exactly something I said. I said, okay, can we go shopping now?
I think that's an accurate memory because we already went over this in one of our previous shows, and that's what she said. You said.
It's cool that we get to hear the story from both perspectives. Well, did you know that's what was coming?
No, I didn't have a clue. Actually, when it comes right down to it, it's a question of whether to accept it or not to accept it. And the only thing that's ever been important to me is that my children are happy. And Elkie was happy.
Well, that's really sweet. We know how you really feel, though.
You realize you're sleeping in the garage tonight.
As usual.
Had you met before I came out?
No.
No.
Do you remember me talking about her or anything?
All you told me was that you had a friend that you were very close to. I don't think I put together that it was a girlfriend in the kind of relationship you now have. But every time you talked about your new friend, you just had a very happy look to you. So when you actually told me, the only thing that mattered was that you were happy. So nothing else was a problem.
Nico, another regular listener, said she wanted to congratulate Elka's mom for raising such a funny person. It seems she did a good job.
She gets it all from me, of course.
And Tracy says, so Elka's mom, why won't your daughter ever come visit me?
Well, first of all, you have to pass inspection. So send me your name, address, and any other physical attributes, and I'll decide whether she can visit you or not.
Okay, this one's a serious question, so. Yeah, because we told people to write in their advice questions. This one is from Christina. She says, I have a question about telling my mother about my relationship. My girlfriend and I have been together for almost 6 years. I'm sure my mom knows, but like Carmen's family is a family on the show, chooses to ignore the obvious. I know they all love her like she's a part of the family, and when my mom finds out, those feelings are going to change into anger and blame for, quote, changing her daughter into a lesbian. I don't know this for sure, but I do know my mom, and I am my mother's youngest child, and to make things worse, her only daughter. I know if her reaction is negative, she will shut me out. I will be greatly upset, and I know she will not understand that my defensiveness for my relationship is the same as if my brothers had to defend their marriages, which they have had to do many times because their wives are morons. I guess I just don't know how to explain this to her, that there is no difference between my relationship and my brother's relationships, except of course the obvious, because even if I break it down kindergarten style, she won't get it, and I'm afraid it's because she will not want to. My girlfriend and I want to move forward and start a family and all, but yeah, that's going to be hard to explain. I just want to get it over with, but I love my mom to death, and it really will hurt if she pushes me away. What is your advice?
First of all, you and your mother both have to get rid of the blame thing. You don't want your mother to think that this is something you got pushed into by your partner. Make it clear to your mom that your life decisions are decisions based on what you feel your needs really are and not something you've been pushed into. The other thing is, I think honesty is the best policy. You really need to let your mother know you're going to have to find the right time when it's just the two of you sitting down and you can talk as a mother and daughter. Tell her your feelings. Make sure you tell your mother you love her and that this is a choice that you are planning on living with for the rest of your life, but you still want your mother to be part of your life, a big part of your life. It is really difficult not knowing how a parent's going to react. Just trust your mom to know that you love her and you want her approval.
Oh, that was a great answer. Oh, now they're hugging for those listeners at home. Okay, what does this mean?
Ashley asked her mom this once and she got an interesting answer. So
okay. This doesn't seem related to anything, but one of our listeners wants to know if you lead a double life. Maybe your husband should leave the room for this one.
Actually, I lead a very boring life now. I'm old and decrepit and retired, and the only time I have any fun at all is when my kids come to visit me and make me feel young again. No, I don't lead a double life.
Man, she has been drinking. These questions are from Tom from the Rambling Redhead podcast. Elka came out 8 years ago. How do you feel about it now?
Much more comfortable with it now because I've gotten to know her partner. Now that I've gotten to know everybody better, it's a lot easier. I think the first problem was not knowing what to expect in choice of partners.
What do you mean by that?
I guess what I mean is whether it's a daughter or a son, they're going to someday be picking a life partner. And it doesn't matter whether it's a male or a female life partner. It's a matter of, are you going to get along with this partner? Are you going to like him or her? So I wasn't concerned with the circumstances. I was concerned with, am I going to like this person?
Yeah, and
of course I
I've heard
can't
about
stand her, but...
Me neither. I don't get along with her girlfriend at all. There's a lot of conflict there. If you could go back and do the coming out again, and knowing what you know now, would you change the way you reacted?
Yeah, I think I'd say, could we go shopping sooner? You could tell me later. No,
Okay.
I don't think I would have changed a thing. I think one of the things that was important to me was always supporting my daughter. And she had always made decent choices. She's an intelligent person. Maybe I just hadn't had time to think it over or dwell upon it, so maybe I would have reacted differently if I had been able to sit there and think about it for any length of time. But when she told me, it was just, well, this is a life choice. This is your choice. I'm here to support you. There was nothing else that I thought about at the time, other than shopping.
Are there any family members who have not reacted in a positive way, and how have you responded to negative attitudes?
Yeah, I've had one relative react in a negative way. It didn't matter to me how this person reacted because it's not someone that's close to me, even though it is a family member. For my whole life, I've been shown how perfect her children are. I don't feel mine are any less perfect. They're just different. So it didn't really... That was her attitude, and she's welcome to it, but I have my own feelings.
Do you ever wish that we could just keep this whole thing a secret so that you wouldn't have to explain things to other family or friends?
No, because I'm not embarrassed by it.
And the last question from Tom is, has anyone reacted to learning Elka was gay in a surprising or exceptionally positive way?
No, I don't think so. Nothing has been out of the ordinary.
Our last question is from Deb. I do have a question for your mom. Ask her if she has any tried and true recipes that help someone fall in love with you. This is a variation of, quote, the way to a guy's heart is through his stomach. Just switch the noun to a girl.
Okay. The one thing I learned, and it was when I met my second husband.
Second out of 12.
No, second out of 2, my current husband. One of the things that attracted him was the fact that I smiled and I seemed happy or cheerful. When you meet somebody who has a positive outlook on life and you are outwardly nice and you smile and you're friendly, I think that's what attracts people.
This is her way of saying that she's not the greatest cook.
Yes, definitely I am not the greatest cook.
In lieu of cooking.
A metaphor, like what's the recipe towards attractiveness, but I think she meant literally what recipe will impress someone on an early date if I cook for them.
Oh, a love potion. What's the best thing to cook for a prospective partner? Lox and bagels works. You know what the best thing is? You take your partner on a picnic. Bring a bottle of wine, a loaf of bread, lots of butter. And just sit and talk and relax. Also, you have to ask me questions about my favorite authors because I am now reading an author who writes, I guess it would be called lesbian literature. I've never read anyone like this before, and I'm loving her stories. She's a mystery author. Her name is Ellen Hart. She's from Minnesota, and she's great. If you're interested in reading good mysteries with a lesbian theme, Ellen Hart's books are fantastic. That's my plug for I'm a bookworm, so.
I think most lesbian literature is pure shit myself. That I've read, but we'll have to take your advice on that one, Elka's mom.
Well, these are just good mysteries.
Oh, that's good. They just happen to be gay people in them?
Yes.
Is the author a lesbian?
I wouldn't know. I've met her. She never told me one way or another. She's
She grabbed
very
your
nice
butt?
person. No. No, but one of the other authors with her put my name in one of his stories.
Awesome. Oh, great. Now, some freak out listener
who's from Wisconsin
is going to look up your name, link it to Elka's, find out where we live.
I said Minnesota, didn't I? Where did I say? Wisconsin? It's not Wisconsin, it's Minnesota.
She's trying to throw him off the trail.
Yeah. There is another question from Deb that I overlooked. We can end on this, or we can keep doing shots for every question and see how that turns out. Do you have any concerns about the future that you wouldn't normally have if your daughter were straight?
Actually, I do have a concern. Being a parent, and an older parent now, my kids are grown up. They come to visit. It's such a joy to see them and to hear of their accomplishments. And I think the thing that I'm missing the most would be seeing children in the relationship. Only because if something happens to a partner, you're alone. And children seem to be, even if they don't live in the same state, there's always a phone. There's always someone to talk to share your feelings and your thoughts. I think sometimes that's what's missing.
So basically you're saying you want Elka to have some babies?
Yeah, the dog and cats just aren't enough. I'm sorry. They never call. They never write.
Well, she's pretty young. You never know what might happen. In any case, the pregnancy wouldn't be accidental, I don't think.
No.
Unlike your other daughter.
Oh!
We're cutting that out. Well, that about wraps it up.
Well, do you have anything you want to ask?
That was mine. I snuck it in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the part about what do you think of the partner?
No, the future thing.
I'd hate to see anybody alone unless they totally enjoy being alone. I mean, there are times when I love being alone. But to lose a partner and to be left alone is very difficult. You know, if you have family to support you, that's great. But if you don't, it's pretty devastating.
Well, that's a good point.
Do you have any questions?
Does it bother you that me and my sister are potty mouths?
Yes.
It does?
Yes, because I'm old. We weren't raised that way.
What words especially offend you so that we can...
Oh, the words that I always say when I'm pissed off.
Are there... Oh, go ahead.
There's lots of four-letter words that I can't stand to hear coming from other people. But yet, when I get frustrated or mad or angry, usually when I'm alone, not in public, I say the same word. No, I guess I'm pretty immune to it. I just get offended when I'm out in public and I hear someone saying some choice four-letter words. It's just the generation I'm from as opposed to the newer generation.
It's a good thing you don't listen to our podcast.
I think we're about ready to...
Do you have anything you want to ask
That's
us?
what I was going to say.
Well, say it, because you've got a mic.
Well, before we close, are there any questions you have for us, Elka's mom?
Just, is there...
No. All right, that wraps it up, folks. No, go ahead.
I don't know. I guess, is there anything else I could do to make your lives more happy?
No. The answer is no. What about you, Elka?
What?
You can answer her question.
What was the question?
Is there anything she needs to do differently? Or no, she said, is there anything
that's
you
about
need
it.
or...
No, you're awesome. It's all good.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm awesome.
Visit me whenever you want. That would be good. I always like when you visit.
She wants you to visit every week. Instead
Every
of
week?
this every season thing.
It sounds like a plan. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope I haven't embarrassed you too much, but maybe a little.
So that was the interview with your mom.
So I have 2 things to say about the interview with my mother.
She's not your real mother.
Oh, please. What? I look exactly like her.
Oh.
Okay, so the first thing I had to say about the interview with my mom was that she's so cute. Christine, or was it Christina, that asked for advice about how to talk to her mom about coming out. After I did that interview, my mom asked me about that girl all the time. Like,
She does?
Yeah, she's like, oh, I hope I gave her good advice. I'm so worried about her. That must be so hard.
Your mom's so nice.
A, she was worried that she wanted to make sure she said the right thing.
Yeah.
And B, she's worried for that girl because she's in a rough spot.
Well, I think that she gave good advice.
I know, but I thought that was so nice that she actually, she always asked me about that girl. And of course I haven't heard from her because we never played the freaking interview.
So we'll have to ask her to email us.
Yeah. And the second thing, she's so cute. She's like, if you get any emails about the interview with me, I want to read them. I want to know what people said about the interview. So if I get any fan mail, you have to forward it to me.
Well,
That's
she
what
probably will.
said.
That's awesome.
So if you have anything to say to my mother, if you have any fan mail or responses or anything like that, send them to theplanetcast@gmail.com and I will forward them to my mom. Did you have anything you wanted to say about the interview?
No, I knew how it was going to go. We all had a couple of beers before the interview. Well, not your mom. Your mom can drink like half a beer and she's like, ah! Well, she has a very low tolerance for alcohol. Let's just say that. She's a small woman.
They call me little mama looking big in my Hummer.
If she drinks a glass of wine, that's her cutoff.
Yeah.
It was pretty relaxed.
Yeah, it was a good time. They're pretty open-minded, laid-back people, so.
Actually, after the interview was over, I just remembered this. After the interview was over, we turned off the mics, and then your mom was like, oh, that went pretty well, whatever. We were talking about it. Then a whole new thing started, involving your stepfather, and we started talking about gay stuff, remember?
Yeah, kind of.
For 20 minutes. They were saying stuff, and we were saying stuff, and...
Yeah, it kind of sparked a discussion.
He was kind of asking questions.
Which he's never done before.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was cool. I just thought that was so adorable. She's like, if I get any fan mail, you have to forward it to me.
Well, we have really good listeners, so she probably will get some.
I hope so. Knowing our listeners, my mom will get hate mail.
They'll be like, why did you turn your daughter gay?
Your daughter's not the right kind of gay.
Huh?
People say I'm not the right kind of gay. I don't know how to be bisexual right.
Wow.
At least we can't be criticized for not being out enough. We're the outest people ever.
I finally bought an MP3 player. And so I've been listening to some of the podcasts. And
Really?
I've also been...
I didn't know that.
Not very many. I listened to just 2 of everybody. And I've also been reading some of the blog stuff. And I'm really surprised that the other people who are doing podcasts are not out. One of them was talking about how they have to redo their house whenever their parents are coming over.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And I was really surprised that those girls aren't out totally.
I think the girl who had to redo her house, she's pretty young.
Oh.
I mean, all these people on the blogs are pretty young. Like I said, you got to be out by the time you're 30.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
They're
my
probably
own
in their
personal
early 20s.
rule for you, but
I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm just surprised.
Yeah. I'm just saying this because I guess some of them got hate mail for not being out enough, or
oh,
you're not the right kind of gay, that kind of bullshit.
I'm not saying that. I'm just surprised. And then the people who posted to their blogs, I was reading a lot of the comments, and a lot of people, I guess I just forget about the other groups of people, honestly. Part of the thing is, I think it's so important to be out. It's the most important thing that you can do as a gay person.
I agree totally.
It's more important than voting. It's more important than, I honestly think
recycling.
It's more important than furthering your career. It's the most important thing you can do. Because if you're not out, then nobody's ever going to know, and then nothing's ever going to change. And plus, you feel so much better when you're out. That's the smallest part of why it's important. I'm not saying, oh, those girls are, I mean, everybody has their time, and their time just hasn't come yet. I'm assuming they're not going to stay in the closet forever. They seem like intelligent people. I'm not saying that at all. Obviously, they probably are just young or maybe still dependent in some way. I don't know. But I was surprised.
Not everyone is as cool as my mom. I mean, I'm like
this is true.
The luckiest queer alive in that respect. For one thing, if you're out, if someone who's on the borderline and they're homophobic but they don't know why, if they meet you and you're out and you challenge them in some way, not like argue with them, but you challenge their bigotry, you could be paving the way for the next gay person they meet. So then the kid that comes after you doesn't have to be the first gay person they've met, you know? So that's one thing you can do by being out. I mean, you're an adult, you're a tough girl or guy, you're strong, you're independent, you're confident. Be out because you're going to be helping out some kid who's not as independent as you are.
I've been out for over a decade now, and literally hundreds of people have told me that I'm the first gay person that they knew, and they were surprised that I'm, quote, normal, and that they were capable of getting along with me, and that I didn't try to persuade them and all this stuff. Hundreds of people have told me that. And a lot of them were older people. And if I'm the first gay person they knew, they might not have met another one for 5 or 10 years. I mean, I don't know.
You're not the first gay person they knew, but you're the first out person.
Right.
I mean, everybody knows someone who's gay, but a lot of people, we're the only ones they know that are out.
Yeah.
And it's not even, I mean, we live in a red state, but it's not hard to be out here. We've gotten yelled at before and stuff, and
but
we even had a situation that was kind of scary, but it's worth it.
I think most people, the number one thing they fear is rejection from their parents.
Mm-hmm. Even more than just setting a good example or changing people's biases or whatever. I think the most important reason to be out, especially young people, when you're in the closet and you are starting relationships, being in the closet teaches kids how to lie to everyone they care about in their formative years. You know, it's like teenagers who are gay are trained in how to lie and deceive the people that they care about the most. And then, you know, when you're in your 20s, you want to date one of these people, and it's like, some people get fucking warped. Yeah. And it's because they've lied to everyone every day for the past 10 years, and it turns people fucking nuts.
Yeah,
I hate that. I mean, I do not want to date someone who's a well-practiced liar. And I just think it's so sad that people are being trained how to lie better.
Yeah, about something that's so natural even.
Well, because you can't just be a complete fucking liar about one part of your life and be a good, honest person about everything else. Don't you think that dishonesty bleeds over and taints the rest of someone's personality after a while?
I never ever thought about it that way, so I don't know.
I think that this is why so many of us have had like negative dating experiences and crazy stalkers and shit like that.
No, the reason why there are crazy stalkers is because there are crazy dudes in the world. Crazy, perverted.
I'm talking about lesbian stalkers.
I've never had a lesbian stalker.
Well, they exist.
Well, of course they exist.
Well, I'm saying I think that's what turns lesbians into like crazy stalkers is all the lying and dishonesty warps their minds.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
How can you create like a healthy relationship with your girlfriend if every day of your life you're lying to everybody? Okay. I'm done with that then. It's ironic that you bring that up because I had a poll already pre-written for what I wanted the poll to be this week. And by the way, we're still taking your season 3 highs and lows. We're going to do a whole show about that. But the poll
I'm not done with that topic yet. Well, the other cool thing about coming out is that this has happened to me a lot. And I love this part of it because I don't know why. I like to be in the spotlight.
Apparently.
One of the things that happens a lot is someone who hasn't been around someone who is out, they almost immediately, after knowing, start asking these questions that you can tell, like, they've wondered about this for years, but they've never known a gay person to ask. And I love it because the questions are so dumb, but they're so fun to answer. When I first moved to New Mexico, I worked at this office job, and it was like the lamest job ever. But it was an office of about 10 people, and we just sat in this room all day and did our work. The day when somebody finally asked me or whatever, which was a couple weeks, I think, or maybe a couple months after I started working there, they found out that I was gay, or somebody asked me about, do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, no, I'm gay. Or I don't remember how I came out there, but I did. And then, like, within 20 minutes, the whole office was asking me questions like I was on a talk show. It was so fun. They were like, so is one of you like the man and the other a woman? They were surprised that I wasn't even that offended because I knew that question was coming, but they were surprised that that was an offensive question. And just the most basic questions, you know. Obviously, the one that always comes up is, well, what do you do in bed? Usually men ask that. Yeah. But this was mostly women working in the office. And so we had already talked about all kinds of stuff that you really shouldn't be talking about in the office, but you do. The floodgates were open. And I just love that because you could tell some of them had been saving it up, or they didn't know who to ask for a reliable answer, or they've been told by straight men the answer, which is total bullshit. That's another reason, because it's kind of fun. It's been way more enjoyable to come out than it has been bad experiences. I've had hardly any bad experiences with coming out, actually. Sometimes it's interesting, because you're like, what do they think?
A lot of people hate those stupid questions that straight people ask us, though. I think you're in a huge minority of actually not minding that.
Really?
I don't mind it either, because I'm too much information girl anyway. A lot of people are just like, what I do is none of your fucking business, straighty.
Oh. Well, I think it's interesting. And, like, they don't know the challenges. They know that people look down on gay people, but they don't realize all the legal issues involved with not being able to get married, not being able to adopt kids, like all these things. Like, they never thought about it. Mm-hmm. Health insurance. They
never think of that.
No, never. Never. So.
And when you say something about gay marriage or gay rights, all they think about is two guys in a groom outfit walking down the aisle of church. They never think about someone like me getting sick and my partner not being able to take care of me because we're discriminated against in health benefits. And that's what matters. I don't give a fuck about throwing rice at the church. I care about, if my girlfriend gets sick, that I'm going to be allowed in the room, even though I'm going to have to turn around and leave again because I can't stand the sight of blood or needles.
We could go on for days talking about how important it is to be out.
Yeah. At the same time, we're not judging people who aren't ready yet.
No.
That has to be a goal. If you're not out yet, you have to set that goal to be out because you can't stay in the closet your whole life.
And if you feel that you're putting it off, you have to set a limit on the time. Just be like, okay, I'm going to be out by the time I'm 29 or 28 or whatever.
No, you can come out before that. Don't be like, well, I'll come out on my 29th birthday. If you're 22 and you're out of the house and you're ready, don't wait till you're 30 just because I said so.
I think you should come out as soon as you can. As soon as you safely can.
That segues nicely into the poll, which I didn't even tell you about.
You never do.
But what I had written down for the poll is give me one good reason to be out.
Oh.
Because there are people that listen and they're like, well, I don't know. Why should I bother being out? I want to know from our listeners. I don't care if you're in, out, or even if you're straight. I want you to give me one good reason why people should be out. And that's the poll. Send your answers to theplanetcast@gmail.com.
Or call our listener hotline at 505-244-0531.
Now, this is the point where I would usually give the blog spot, and I still will, but it's time for us to make our big, sparkly, shiny, awesome announcement.
We're gay. That's the announcement. We're gay. We're gay. Surprise!
I'm not gay. I'm bisexual.
Oh, I forgot. Well, you're kind of gay. You're gayish.
Are you gay? Okay. I'm so excited about this. It's very cool.
Go ahead.
You were about to say it's not that great, weren't you? You're a dick.
I think it's so awesome.
Good. We have created, with a lot of help from some of our listeners, the Planet Podcast Web Forum. It's an online community where we can talk about the L word, we can talk about the podcast, we can just talk about whatever. and I'm so excited about it. I think it's really cool. And it's also the place where you can find out about other women who are podcasting, because we kind of glossed over it earlier, but a lot of the Planet listeners have taken the DIY spirit to heart and have started their own podcasts as well as blogs. And you can find links to the blogs and links to other podcasts there as well.
What's the website, Elka?
I'm glad you asked, Casey. It's theplanetcast.proboards106.com.
106.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
But
Derek and Romaine's
I
channel.
was going to say it's easy to remember because that's the station of OutQ Gay Radio.
Sirius Satellite 106.
We should have a paid endorsement of Sirius because we always talk about it. Anyway, the planet. What?
I said I miss it. I just
your
got
new
a new car and I haven't gotten Sirius installed yet.
Theplanetcast.proboards106.com. And I will, of course, post a link at our blog spot, theplanetcast.blogspot.com. Go to the forum and just check it out. Just look around. Spend 5 minutes there and I swear you'll get sucked in. It's the coolest thing ever on the internet.
Oh, it's on the internet?
Yes, it's on the World Wide Web.
This information superhighway?
And it's super cool. It's very pretty and people keep saying, oh, it looks so cool. It's so nice. You did a great job.
What people?
Well, I've let the moderators in.
Oh.
All I did was write the words, like the boards, but every pretty thing on there was made by Foxfire.
Because she rocks.
She's fucking awesome. And I want to have her babies. Her internet web babies. She's a really talented web designer. So if you do visit our board, which I insist that you do, give some good karma to Foxfire for the amazing job she did.
Foxfire. 106. Foxfire.
All right, so I think that, let's see. We've talked about nipples. We've talked about my mother. We've announced the forum.
Foxfire. Our forum by Foxfire.
The Planetcast web forum by Foxfire. It sounds like a scent. Are we ready to sign off? I make no guarantees as to when our next podcast will come about.
When we damn well feel like it.
Nice.
Well, it's true. Adios, amigas.
I love it when she says that. The Planet Podcast would like to thank Rachel Shelley Online for their generous donation of a luscious signed photo of Rachel Shelley as the prize for our comic contest. Visit www.rachelshelleyonline.com for more Rachel Shelley goodness.
Mommy loves you very much. Mommy loves you very much. No matter what you do, Mommy loves you very much. Mommy loves you when you're sad. I still love you when you do bad things, and I love you when you're happy. Even love you when you're mad. Mommy loves you very much. Mommy loves you very much. No matter what you do, Mommy loves you very much.
I'm on LiveJournal with my own personal blog.
And the listener's name is Brian Cunningham. What about this anonymous listener?
And so they're on our Planet Podcast friends list on LiveJournal. And so I friended them with my own personal blog because I thought they were interesting. And they didn't friend me back. All right, let's just play the interview, okay?
Oh, I see.
Are you high?
Well, that's not normal language. Here's the beep. Now talk about the after talk. What? What's the after talk?
I think
Beep.
you know all about
thought
the
you
after
meant-
talk, Casey.
I thought you meant beeping out the word I said. Because it was
That too.
nasty.
Lots of butter. Lots of butt.